Alright, guys. So we gotta talk about Pokemon Sword and Shield again. Because they basically just shit the bed real bad with these games. So E3 is happening this week, as I'm sure all of you know. And during Nintendo's Nintendo Treehouse live stream thing, they had the segment where they had the people from Game Freak on. They're talking about Pokemon Sword and Shield. They're giving some new info. And during this, Junichi Masuda dropped a big bombshell on people that was not very well received by most Pokemon fans. And basically what he said was that any Pokemon that you have in the new Pokemon Home app, or whatever the fuck that's supposed to be, that they're coming out with soon, any Pokemon from Pokemon Home that you want to transfer into Pokemon Sword and Shield, you can only do so if those Pokemon are already in the Galar Pokedex. So let me explain in detail what this means, because I believe a lot of people are confused or misinformed about what he's actually talking about here. What this means is that they're basically doing the same thing they did with the Let's Go games, where, those titles only had the Gen 1 Pokemon in them, plus Meltan's line. And all of the other Pokemon were not even coded into the game. Like, not only were they not catchable in the game, you could not obtain them at all in any way, period. They're not in the game. That's basically what they're doing with Sword and Shield, except that instead of just Gen 1 Pokemon, it's whichever random ones they decide to put in the Galar Pokedex. So this will include any of obviously the new Gen 8 Pokemon that are coming out new for these games, and then whatever old Pokemon from Gens 1 through 7 that they decide to also include. So this confirms that not only is the National Pokedex not coming back for Sword and Shield, which that in and of itself is enough to piss me off, this is even a step further, saying that any Pokemon that aren't in the regional decks aren't even going to be included in the game at all. You can't get them, period. So if someone you like, say you're a big fan of, the Pidgey line, just as an example. Say the Pidgey line isn't in the Galar Pokedex. You're not going to be able to transfer Pidgey or any of its evolutions from Pokemon Home into Sword and Shield. You're not going to be able to obtain them in those games, period. I don't even know where to begin with this. Game Freak makes a lot of stupid decisions, and I'm out about them all the time. But this is a whole new level. Like, they have completely outdone themselves on the bullshit meter with this one. Like, it's to the point where I'm seriously considering not even getting these games. Which that is a huge statement coming from someone like me who absolutely not only rushes to get every main series Pokemon game on release day, but actively looks forward to it and is one of the most exciting things that I look forward to every time one of these is coming out. Every year one of these is coming out. Not counting Let's Go, because Let's Go isn't main series. I don't give a fuck what they want to claim it is. It's a spinoff. Fuck Let's Go. So this is a huge deal. And this is a huge deal breaker for a lot of people. This is not okay. Because not only does it go back on what they said just recently about, wanting to be able to transfer your old Pokemon into the new games from Pokemon Bank into Pokemon Home, and then into Sword and Shield. You're not going to be able to do that anymore unless the ones you want to transfer happen to already be catchable in the game. Which also pretty much renders Pokemon Home entirely useless, since if the only Pokemon that I can send from home into Sword and Shield is the ones that I can already catch in Sword and Shield, then what's even the fucking point of having a transfer feature? So I can send some shiny or some, some sentimental Pokemon I have from an old game. We better hope it's in the Galar Pokedex or you won't be able to do that either. So they've totally defeated the purpose of having home, which was already kind of defeated in the first place, considering it should have just been an upgrade for Bank anyway. But also, if you send a Pokemon into home from Pokemon Bank or from Pokemon Go or from the Let's Go games, and it's not in the Galar Pokedex and you can't send it into Pokemon Sword and Shield, when they show the little diagram thing, all the arrows going into home, besides the Sword and Shield ones, were one way. So that means any Pokemon that you can't get in Sword and Shield that you put into home are trapped in home. And you can't do butt-fuck anything with them. Why did they think this was a good idea? Like, what the fuck are they smoking over there to cook this up and think that not only would it be well received, but also that it's a good plan going forward? I just don't understand the mindset of how they come to these decisions. I just don't. This whole thing, it's one of the main reasons that I didn't get the Let's Go games in the first place. Like, they had the stupid Go catching mechanics, and they had the watered down battle system and stuff with no abilities and fewer moves and all that. And the candies and that bullshit. But if that was it, I would have at least been willing to maybe give those games a chance. But the thing that really pushed me over the edge of not giving a fuck about Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee was the fact that the vast majority of Pokemon weren't even in the games. Gens 2 through 7 were not in the game. So I didn't give a fuck. And that's the same problem now we're having with Sword and Shield. A lot of the Pokemon aren't going to be in the game. We don't know which ones. We don't know how many. It doesn't matter how many. If that number is any number greater than 0, then it's already too many and shouldn't be happening in the first place. So, in one fell swoop, they managed to not only kill the vast majority of all the hype for these new games, they've also managed to piss off pretty much their entire fan base. I've been on a ton of sites today, everywhere I go, social media, Pokemon forums, the comment section for the YouTube videos where they announce this crap. All of it, everywhere you go, everybody's mad about this. From like every end, every region, people in Japan, I've seen like Japanese comments complaining about it. I've seen English comments complaining about it on Twitter, on Boba Garden forums, on Cerebi, on Poke Jungle, on GameFAQs, everywhere. Just all over the place. Everyone's mad about this. And they should be. If they were this mad about it when they took it out in Gen 7, then maybe we wouldn't be having this problem now. But, what are you going to do? It's the thing that really bothers me is that every generation since Gen 6, they've been taking something away a little bit at a time. In Gen 6, they took the transfer features that should have been in the game. They took them out and they plopped them into Bank. In Gen 7, they took the National Dex out and they plopped it into Bank too. Now they're completely and totally blocking off Pokemon from even being attainable in the games. This has been a progression for a while now, leading to this. This ain't just out of the blue. And yes, this is worse than last gen. Again, some people are confused. This is worse than last gen because at least in Gen 7, the National Pokedex itself wasn't in the game. But any Pokemon in the National Pokedex could still be attainable in the games. You could transfer them over from Bank or trade for them or what have you, but you could obtain them in the game in some fashion and use them. You're not even going to be able to do that in Sword and Shield. You're not going to be able to attain them and use them at all. Period. So this has caused a lot of backlash. This has pissed me off to no end. Uh, I'm just so frustrated because every time I get hyped for these games, every time they show something cool and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I like this. They immediately just take a big shit on it and kill all the hype I had built up. And it's so frustrating to watch a franchise that I love so much have to go through this shit because I've been a Pokemon fan literally my entire life. Like some of my earliest memories involve Pokemon, watching the anime when I was little, collecting the cards, and then when I got a little older, I got into the games. And the Pokemon games are what got me into RPGs in the first place. And now RPGs are my favorite genre in all of gaming. Like, this franchise has had such a huge impact on my life and sort of steered my interests in certain directions that, like, it's really crazy to think about how different my life would be right now if it wasn't for Pokemon. And it just makes me sad and angry and upset and frustrated when something you love and something that's that important to you goes this shitty route and absolutely just degrades over time. Objectively gets worse. There's no way to defend this. There's no way. I see people trying. I see people making excuses. Those people are full of shit. There's no excuse for it. I don't give a fuck. It's objectively worse to take content that was there before in previous titles and remove it. You shouldn't be celebrating. You shouldn't be defending getting less. Because that's what's happening here. You're getting less. It doesn't matter if your favorite Pokemon are included, if you like the new features or you like the graphics or whatever about Sword and Shield that you're excited about, and oh well, it makes up for it because no, it doesn't. It doesn't make up for it, and it's not okay. And people need to make their voices heard about this, which fortunately a lot of people are. There's a hashtag going around. I think it's hashtag Bring Back National Dex. There's been a huge uproar from the fans about this, which is a good thing. I don't know if it's going to lead to anything. Honestly, I doubt it. I hope it does. I don't expect it to. Some people are saying like, oh, it's fine. They'll patch it later. I don't know what gives these people the idea that they're going to patch anything later. They never patch buttfuck anything unless it's like a serious glitch or something. They didn't patch in the new Megas that they introduced in Oris into X and Y. They didn't patch in the new Ultra Beasts and the new Pokemon and forms and things from Usum into Sun and Moon. Why do you think all of a sudden they're going to feel like patching in all these Pokemon that they're specifically going out of their way to leave out? It just doesn't make any sense. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe they have an epiphany and decide to put all the old Pokemon in through some update or patch or something. I hope I am wrong. I hope they do that. I don't think they will. It'd be stupid that they even have to because they should have been in there in the first place. And people are saying, oh, well, maybe it was time constraints. They didn't have time to, remodel all these Pokemon or upgrade the animations or whatever the fuck. Then delay the damn games. Animal Crossing got delayed. Fucking Metroid Prime 4, they're starting it over from scratch. God knows when it's coming out. Didn't Fire Emblem Three Houses get delayed too? I can't even fucking remember. Anyway, all this other shit gets delayed from Nintendo. So I don't see any reason why they gotta push out Sword and Shield as an incomplete piece of shit turd mess when everything else can get a delay in order to fix its issues. Delay the motherfucker. I'd much rather have a complete game later than a turd sandwich now. So anyway, I can sit here and mouth and whine and complain all night, but I pretty much said all there is to say. I don't know what I'm gonna do about these games. I don't want to not get them, but they're making it really hard to still want to get them. So I don't know what I'm gonna end up doing, but anyway, I guess that's all I got to say. So, lots of luck to you and yours.